Shout out to my real ones, live and direct. You know, this a jungle ops right here. This a real life breakdown. But we just wanted to send peace, love, and happiness to everybody in these wilder times. You know, that's the number one thing we gotta do, is just be peaceful, more love and happiness. And we gotta just make sure we have loyalty and respect for ourselves, but also for the people around us. That's the number one thing. Because once this scales, that's how politics end up changing. So it's just regular life. You just gotta be respectful to your neighbors and have fun with everybody and have a celebration, because there's a lot of craziness that happens around the entire globe that we don't always see or understand. But it's very simple. It's just like, you know, some people own more manufacturing plants and they make this part of the world is known more for this. Maybe it's gasoline and they own this. This part of the world might have more metal, which is steel, and they own that. But the only issues happen in real life is when one part of the country then starts to act like this one is theirs, or they start walking around and surveillancing like, okay, this part is not even mine, but I'm watching this side. This is what's happening across the globe with different countries, you know, different politics. But it's very simple. We gotta use things like this cup, right? If China has more of this type of plastic cup, you cannot just go be disrespectful if most of our cups are made like this, even if it's kind of different forms. You know, if you gotta build your Toyota and it's only a Toyota screw, and that's like either Japanese or some part of Asia for the Toyota screw, even though it's American based, you cannot bring, you know, 50,000 American boats to that side when they wasn't ever doing anything but providing Toyotas to everybody that we love, that work non-stop consistently. So this is how different things happen across the globe. So if your material is from Asia or China, and that's what it is, most of it, you cannot then put 50,000 aircraft above China when every material that we use from Walmart is pretty much from China. That will be off size and off limits, past interference. This is just how it works. So if you just respectful, so if you give them a deal after they provide all this cotton to you for the low, now the tariffs aren't crazy and the inflation isn't out of control for the regular individuals and the people. This is how simple it is. If you get most of your rice from this side of the field, don't go steal your neighbor's papayas if it's from Japan. You cannot then have random Japanese people stealing your rice and the papayas, and you're just doing business with your neighbors. So this is just all kind of random analogies, but this is how simple it is. Like, you cannot be a different country, fly across the waters, and then pollute the water for the other country when we all drink water and we have to drink water. Like, that's back to moral common grounds. That's called ethics and philosophy. This is why things get out of hand and out of control. You cannot surround some place like the Middle East with boats when they still learning how to build in the sand. That's called like unfair. That's an unfair advantage. You cannot redline your neighbors when they're still learning to actually be neighbors and learn education or have less financial ability. This is how things and ego get out of line sometimes, but then you gotta learn how to then become more peaceful, loving, and happiness if you interfere unintentionally. So if you do things unintentionally just to sometimes provide assistance or help, or actually be loyalty and respect but not understood, then you actually have to use real life communication in person. So this is when countries sometimes have to meet in person, politics and things, but then they need to use different ways to make this actually understood. So if you're just talking with your friend and there's good vibes and you guys are laughing and it's peaceful and it's fun, your country's probably not gonna get hit with tariffs that's out of control if there's a common ground and like moral understanding. So if the morals, laurels, and peaceful and happiness are understood, then the parts for your Toyota about to be cheaper and not through the roof if some Americans don't just fly over there or go with their boats and surround the whole place and then take whatever drilling for gasoline is over here, if that's their waters, because they cannot just fly to our water and then start putting up gasoline rigs at Big Beach, Little Beach, and now we cannot surf like that and like pull up with the Puma Connect. Oh, that's the part where it's simple understanding and it's just loyalty and respect that keeps the tariffs, the inflation, and everything at peace and common ground. Because people in the Middle East want to learn how to build structures in the sand. People in America want to learn how to rebuild all the broken bridges and everything that's falling to shreds. People in Asia, they want to be innovative, but they don't want to keep eating the food that they eating, even though they love it, but it's different too. There's too much not space over there. There's a lot of space over here, but everything is like, it's old, but it's new and it's not consistent. Other places over here are super consistent, but the price is way different than we're not even used to, but it's just different. This is like global politics, globalization, and just common ground and understanding, because one thing comes from over here, the other thing comes from over here. Somebody has apples over here, but you also want to provide bananas from over there. Don't go steal their bananas. Give them a good cost on your apple. They'll give you a good cost on the bananas. That's how you keep peace. Only issue is the translation, the communication, the understanding, and how it's said when you're around other people. This is how you create peace, love, happiness, and you don't have to cross each other's boundaries without good intention. If you have pure intention, good intention, and actual real life faith, good faith, then you won't start to see the skies looking like this. This is some countries right now with the skies. This is not 4th of July type activity where you want to kiss under the stars and enjoy it. This is called real life in other countries, because they're crossing each other's borders and boundaries, and they're not understanding and they're not communicating in person. Sometimes people are more fearful to communicate in person. This is when this happens. This is when other countries start if you bring 50,000 drones into my country and I never went to your country, this country now is going to be looking at you like, why is there 50,000 drones in my country that I don't even know? I have drones that's better than that, but why is these drones in my country now? Then now they got to start acting like, okay, so am I going to communicate with this person, or am I about to just shoot down 50,000 drones because for some odd reason you put it in my skies? This is past interference in football. In football, you cannot just run in front of the person and then do certain activity before they're even about to catch the ball. Or you kind of grab their neck from behind the pads and then pull them down on some NFL blitz and then step on them with the cleats. This is when you get fined, you get kicked out of the game. You cannot be on some Ron Artest type activity, throwing or doing any kind of wild world meta piece, throwing chairs in the stands, and it's the people that watch that pay for the game to go on. This is when loyalty and respect starts changing, and then there's fines, there's tariffs, there's inflation. You kind of start finding certain things that you once did. The environment starts to change. But if we have peace, love, and respect, if we have more fun and celebration, and we respect the people around us, this can then scale globally, especially with content and marketing. So when people say, like, do I have a bot on my page? Am I doing too much? No, I'm not doing too much. It's people who are past interferencing when I'm creating. So when I create my content, this scales to hundreds of thousands, even millions of people around the globe. Some people don't have 4K. Some people don't have good cell phones. But if I'm providing the content with World Media Innovations, shout out to, the Coconut Kingdom family and the Winners Club.us, then people can have a better understanding of the things that are happening on a simple first principle way without having all kind of emotions. But if you guys share lunch, like, oh, you can have some of this, you can have some of this, without doing all of that, then they're not about to hit you with the tariff. The tariff is Fat Joe's voice. Yesterday's price is not today's price, just overnight. If you do some kind of weird activity, like lie to a different country, you just start doing some kind of wrongfully war activity to a different country, if you start spying on me, like, bro, people be spying in apartments, redlining apartments, just because I am who I am. Once you do that, bro, I'm gonna turn up this city and go crazy on them, because that's a past interference, bro. I know sports. I'm a baller since day one. Look at me, I'm looking clean right now. But you cannot just reach in, do this and that, just because I'm on the course balling for real. This is when other things and like small amounts of disrespect happen. But you just have to learn to understand different cultures, different languages, and different tones in communication. So when you have more fun and you bring comedy to it and it scales globally, no, I'm not using bots, I'm not doing this and that. Bro, this is real music. This is live and direct. This is me doing jungle ops early in the morning. First principles, easy understanding on a global political scale. CoconutKingdomFamily.com. You know what it is. Yo, I was at Big Beach. They used to call me Little J, now they call me Big J. They was going crazy for bikini season. I was at Big Beach doing backflips, littles, doing crazy activity, riding out on a ballistic board, going crazy, bro. But I'm retired now. Who knows if I'm ever back in the game? But it's your boy, Lil J, Big J, Josh Forde, Joshua Elijah Forde. And that's First Principles at 1354. You know what it is, but anytime you go to other countries, talk to other people, you gotta have a silver lining, a common understanding, because we all drink water. You cannot do anything to the water because everybody has to drink water. That's regular morals. Sometimes you gotta think of these things with different philosophical standpoints and perspectives. But once you do that, you understand that people are just people. We're trying to survive. If one place is more of a jungle, you're trying to build in a jungle. If one place is a desert, you're trying to build in a desert. If one place is just mostly water and you're on an island, you building in the Hawaiʻi Islands, baby. Shout out to my real ones. Let's go. I'm gonna post this for everybody. 15 minutes long. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all that. It's your boy Josh Forde. Let's get it. Yeah.